Welcome to God at Work. I'm Kathy Benz, and I'm here today with two beautiful ladies from St. Gianna Crisis Pregnancy Home. Today we have Dr. Katharyne Byrne and Janet Henderson to talk about St. Gianna's and all the beautiful work and ministry that's going on with the ladies there. So we're just so happy to have you all here today.
Thank you. We're delighted to be here today.
Yeah, so why did your group decide to open this home?
We learned by talking to a number of agencies in the Bowling Green area that there were a surprising number of women who were pregnant and either homeless or in terrible living situations with people who were not good to them, and that we knew that we wanted them to be able to come to a place that would be safe and nurturing, to experience their pregnancies, have their babies in a safe place, and then be able to work on getting themselves together so that they could eventually move on to be independent and able to care for their babies themselves.
What a wonderful ministry and very needed in our area.
Yes, I think that was one of the big surprises to me. I thought, you know, Bowling Green area, this is a nice place to live. But when we started to talk to people like some of the rehab homes or Life Skills, Salvation Army, we learned that they had homeless pregnant women there. And so, or women sleeping in their cars. So we knew that something had to be done so that these women could safely, they wanted to have their babies. People were telling them, oh, get rid of your baby. But they wanted to have their babies, but they needed help to be able to do that successfully.
So they were falling through the cracks in the system. There's really no safety net for them.
Right. We have a pregnancy support center in Bowling Green, which is really wonderful, and they help with things like, pregnancy tests and ultrasounds and supplies for the baby, but there was no place to go anywhere close if they were homeless, if they needed a place to actually live. And so we decided to open a place where they could actually live with us. And they can come at any time in their pregnancy, and our goal is to have them stay up to 8 months afterwards, so they have time to go to school or get a good job and save up some money, because it's expensive to get out on your own. You need those deposits for your rent and your utilities, so they needed time to be able to save. Plus, we have classes for them to help them get ready to be good moms. Everything from, you know, nutrition and cooking, budgeting, child care, fire safety. We try to get these things presented to them so that they'll be able to be successful when they leave us.
Well, back to the homeless situation. I hear that is a pretty serious situation here in Bowling Green, and that there are a number of homeless pregnant women.
Right.
So this is so necessary here, and all those extra aids, that's what they need to get on their feet.
Right. We didn't want to be just a shelter. You can go to the Salvation Army and have a bed, but we wanted to have a true program that they could participate in and develop the skills that they were going to need. They all come from such chaotic backgrounds, many from multiple foster homes or from homes where there was drug use, having parents who were, you know, in the penitentiary as they were growing up. So they were coming from very chaotic backgrounds, and we wanted them to see what it was like to be in a home where things are organized, where it's clean, where you have a family dinner, so that they would be able to experience that with their own child later.
What a blessing for these women.
Thank you.
I'm so glad we're getting more and more people to come to it. So, well, how long has St. Gianna been open, and how many women have you served to this point?
We've been open for about 19 months now.
Wow.
It took us a little longer to get open than we had planned because we were doing renovations when we got hit by that tornado a few years ago and got set back substantially. But we did open 19 months ago, and in that time we have had about a dozen women live with us. We have had 8 babies born to women in the home. We're expecting, one of our moms is expecting a baby next month in May, and we are expecting 2 women to move in next week who are due in May and in July. So we're hoping pretty soon to be up to 11 babies.
Wow. So how many babies are in the home now?
Right now there's only 1 baby because we have pregnant moms. So right now there's only 1. We had a mom just move out recently. We've been successful. We've had several women after they had their babies move to apartments locally. And we keep in touch with all of them because they continue to have some needs even after they leave us. So we still see those babies and we still see those moms, and we have some programs to help them after they leave us.
Wow. Can you tell me just a little more about the full purpose and mission of this beautiful home?
Well, we provide, first of all, we're totally free. We don't charge anything.
Yeah.
For instance, if you're living in a sober living home, you still have to pay rent for your room. But everything you get at St. Gianna is free. So basically, we're providing them with shelter, with food. We provide all of their dinners for them, and they have no utility costs or any other costs. And then we also provide not only that sort of financial help, but we provide spiritual guidance. We have a spirituality committee that comes in once a week, and they have Bible study, and it's a fun time. It's a friendly, talking about everything sort of time. And so it starts with the Bible and branches out, and how are we going to put this into our lives. So there also is some spiritual guidance. We encourage each woman to find a faith community in the area. You know, we are a Catholic home, but we don't require you to be of any religion, nor do we try to convert you to Catholicism. But we encourage them to find a faith home because it's another support system.
Absolutely.
It's there while they're pregnant, and it's there after they leave us. And we have had a number of women going to local churches, and we love that they have that support besides us.
Well, isn't that the problem? They're there at the home because they don't have another support system. So when they get connected with the church, that's automatically usually a good support system for them.
People have been very good to them. They've also helped them with friendship and with things that they needed for themselves and their babies from a number of parishes and churches in Bowling Green.
Y'all are a big organization. A lot of people contribute to this, don't they?
Yes, we have, first of all, we have many volunteers, and we can talk a little bit about volunteers later. We need volunteers to run the house, to help with things like teaching the classes, providing transportation. Each girl has a mentor. Our mentor program is wonderful. One girl, one mentor to walk together through their whole stay. And that mentor's job is to help them to lay out their plans for the future. These women have been under so much stress that they can't look ahead. They're just trying to get by. Where am I going to sleep tonight? Where am I going to get gas for my car? If they have a car, you know, where am I going to get food? And when we relieve them of those sorts of responsibilities, they have their first chance to look into the future and say, what do I want to do? How am I going to support my family? What would make me and my baby have a happy life in the future? So the mentor helps them make that large plan and then break it into short segments, you know, shorter goals that they can reach and feel the sense of accomplishment that I've made it this far, now I'm going to work on this. I've got that done, now I can work on the next thing.
Some of them have never had a chance to work on goals, to even know what a goal is, because they don't see it in others around them. It's just whatever happens, happens, and they seem to go from crisis to crisis, and this breaks that cycle, doesn't it?
Exactly. You know, especially when you have young women who have been from foster home to foster home to foster home, or who have been addicted to drugs. Those people are not looking ahead. They're just trying to survive. And now they finally have a chance to really look ahead.
What a blessing for everyone involved in this. So are there any changes that you would make in this model over what you've already done?
Well, we've made a lot of changes since we opened, I'll tell you that. It's certainly a live and learn situation. You know, when you have a dozen women come to you, all from a different circumstance, you have to learn. Not everybody fits into the same mold. Some people want to go to school. Some people can't stand the idea of going to school. You know, some people have never held a steady job before, but we have to get them to the point where they can do that, or they won't be able to take care of their baby. So we have made changes in rules, everything from originally we had a curfew. Now we know some of them have to work nights or evenings and nights, so we've had to make changes with that. Originally we didn't have a plan for letting them go on passes to visit their family, and now we've realized those of them who have someone to go to, we want them to keep that connection, and we allow them to go on pass, maybe 2 nights a month if they want to, if they have someone good to go to, or even longer at a holiday, like Thanksgiving or Christmas. There have been a lot of changes, but we just try to be flexible and deal with each woman and her particular problems and try to find what's best for her.
Well, God is leading you.
Oh, that's for sure. We always say God has been in this from the beginning. Every time we have needed something, somehow it's been there. Every time we've needed a person, that person has come to us. After the tornado, I was in tears when I saw the house, and yet we ended up that the tornado was a blessing to us, because the tornado completely blew away a little old garage, 1-car garage that we had. It was all over the property, smashed the top of the house. Well, we were able to take the insurance money for that, and with free labor done by the Good Samaritan Ministry, which is a bunch of wonderful men who do free work for people, they built us a beautiful 2-car garage, and we were able to repair the home, enlarging the upstairs bedroom. So what would have been a capacity of 4 women is now a capacity of 6 women as our maximum. So the tornado turned out to be a blessing. So God has worked, it's amazing the things that happen, and yet he turns them around and turns them into a good.
I've been very impressed. I follow St. Gianna on the WhatsApp, and when there's a need for one of the women or the baby, people just step up with everything and anything and drop it off, and they're just so generous.
We have had 2 vehicles donated to us. We get a lot of furniture, and the reason for that is when these women leave us and they get that first apartment, it's an empty apartment, and they don't have the money. If they pay their rent deposits and their utility deposits, it's very hard to come up with money for furniture. So people around town have been very gracious and given us, when they're replacing things that are used but serviceable, and we save those. We've been donated some free storage units, and we save those, and we pass them on to our women, and we help them move into their new apartments with some of their furniture. We can't give them also dishes, pots and pans, so many lamps and mirrors, all those things we end up having donated to us. And of course we get a pretty steady supply of baby clothes and maternity clothes. There are things that someone only needs for so long, and they think of us and they pass them on to us, and that's been a great help to us.
It's amazing when we look around our own homes at all the things that we have, we realize they need a lot of that too.
Absolutely.
And if you're not using it, somebody else might as well get use from it.
Right. And if we ever get something donated to us that we aren't able to use, we pass it on to St. Teresa Ministries. They have the thrift store in Bowling Green, and all the money they make selling things goes to Warren County. And they have been benefactors of ours. They helped us to build our addition. They paid for half the cost of our addition, and they also have contributed money towards transportation needs that we have. So whenever someone gives us something we can't actually use, we take it to St. Teresa's, and they have been a partner of ours from the beginning.
A reciprocal arrangement.
Right,
that is
right.
wonderful.
And we encourage people who have donations to take them to St. Teresa Ministries.
Well, God is working in many people's lives to keep this going, keep it afloat.
Absolutely. And our mentors particularly, and all our volunteers have been such a blessing, because we have 2 employees. One full-time employee, that's Amanda, who's currently on maternity leave. She had her own baby about 3 weeks ago, and we're really missing her. And then we have a part-time employee who usually works the evenings. Now she's filling in more hours while our house manager is on maternity leave. But we have, 2 employees. God bless them. They're wonderful. One has a social work background, but they both have extensive knowledge of what's available in the area. If a woman has a need, they have a lot of knowledge of how to take care of that need, be it getting on Medicaid or getting enrolled in WIC, Women and Infant Children's Program, that helps with nutrition needs for both the mother and the baby. There's many programs available, but you have to know about them. And these 2 women are both very knowledgeable, kind-hearted, wonderful women who we're so happy that God sent them to us.
Yes, once you learn that system, then you can share all that knowledge with everyone else that really needs it.
And they have both experienced being single moms themselves. so they can really relate to all of our mothers because they've had that experience.
Well, at some point, wasn't there information about starting a daycare, or did that ever happen?
Well, that fell through. We were hoping to have a daycare right on another part of the property where we're located, but that hasn't happened. So our women, after they've had their babies, and they need to get on waiting lists usually for daycare, and so we will take them to tour different facilities. And if we know where they work, we can try to find something that will be convenient for them. So we have had a couple of mothers who had private sitters through friends or family, but many of them have to rely on daycare centers to place their babies in while they're working.
So the logistics of meeting all their needs are just wide and varied, aren't they?
Especially transportation. You know, you have to be able to drop your baby off at daycare and get to work, get back to pick up your baby, and get home, plus all of your pediatric appointments, your obstetric appointments. There's a lot that goes into each woman's needs, and some have had vehicles, but many have not had vehicles, and so we're so grateful. We have only women can drive our ladies. All our volunteers
Yes.
are female when it comes to being in the home
Yes.
or providing transportation. We do have men who do some other things. They do our maintenance in the house. We have people cutting our grass for us. They can be on like a fundraising committee, that sort of thing. But in the home or providing transportation, all of our volunteers are female, and they are so helpful to us meeting that need for getting women who don't have a car yet, who are saving for a car, helping them meet that. We've developed a couple of we call it scholarship programs. We require every woman at the house, once they're working, to save at least 10% in a savings account, and 20% if they have any older children, because some of them do have older children with family, okay?
And some of these people have never had an account in a
Right,
bank.
they're opening their first bank accounts, exactly. And so we're teaching them about savings. So we require them to save, and then the first thing they save for is their car, because you got to get to work and you got to get to daycare. We'll match $1,000 in savings
Oh, wow.
for them to purchase their car. And then we have another scholarship program where we can match their savings to help them with an emergency fund. If they can save up their deposits for their rent and their utilities, sometimes they manage that and they want to get out in the apartment. But the first emergency, for instance, we had a woman who had a car wreck. Another woman lost her job shortly after moving out. They needed an emergency fund. So our board allows, if myself or Missy Monroe, the other house director, we can recommend a mother if we feel she has participated in the program, she's done her chores, she's done her cooking, she's got her job, she's saved her money, we can give them a scholarship divided up over the first 6 months after they leave us to help them, meet their financial needs.
Well, they have no emergency fund on their own.
No, they would not have an emergency fund.
So you have some very generous people
We
providing
certainly do.
this.
We certainly do. And we get donations from, we exist entirely on donations. And I know Gianna will talk to you more about that. She is our Director of Development. She'll talk to you about that. But we do exist entirely on donations. And the community has been very generous to us, enabling us to be open and to do this.
I'm continually amazed at how many people come forward with items and time served. They're just doing so much to help these women.
I think so many of us we've been pro-life, and we've wanted these women to have their babies, but we didn't know what to do to make that happen. And I think St. Gianna in this community has become a way for people who have that on their heart. God wants me to do something. It gives them a chance to do something.
Oh, it's wonderful. Well, I'd like to talk to you a little bit, Janet, and tell us a little bit about what you do.
Well, my job and my responsibility for St. Gianna is fundraising. Making sure that we have enough money to run the house, that everybody has what they need. So we do several things throughout the year, but our big fundraiser is our gala.
Tell us all about that.
Oh yes, our gala. We're doing a tour of Italy, and this year our theme is Tuscany. So we have this on Saturday, April the 18th. So it's coming up in a couple of weeks, and it will be at La Gala. That's at 601 State Street, there in Bowling Green, and our doors will open at 6 o'clock. It's a wonderful opportunity. We have numerous sponsors at different levels. They buy tables, they invite co-workers, they invite family and friends, and we try to make it a fun-filled night where there's lots that go on throughout the night. We have a live auction where we have 5 to 6 big items that we have an auctioneer. He will auction those items off.
Sounds like a really fun night.
Oh, it is a fun night. And then we have the silent auction, which is quite extensive. We have baskets that are laid out, and if you cannot attend the gala, we do have online opportunities so that you can see the basket, what's in the basket, and you can bid online.
This online stuff is really good because people are so pressed for time anymore. They can't
They
always
are.
make it. And that's a great way to give.
And it really keeps the competition alive during the auction. So you go in there and you think you've got something, and then lo and behold, there's somebody online that's already outbid you. So it keeps the competition nice and friendly and keeps everybody going back and looking at it. We also play a game there called Heads and Tails.
I love heads and tails.
Heads and Tails is a ton of fun. You buy beads, and during the time, if you've got one choice or the other, it's either heads or tails. And if you, usually Mike, Katharine's husband, is our MC. He'll say, okay, heads or tails, and you do this, and we flip. And if it's heads, and you've got heads, then you get to keep standing. If you had tails, you have to sit down. And then we get down to one, and there's a nice prize at the end of it. We usually do a couple of $500 gift cards at the end, and then most of the time they're donated back, but you know, that's availability. But we also have great things that are fun, dinner with our fathers, and it's just other things that go on. We have jewelry, we have outdoor furniture that we auction off in the live auction. So it's a fun-filled night. We have photo booths, we have all kinds of things that go on. Ashley Steiner is going to be our guest speaker this year. She is one of the house mothers there at the house, and she was actually she came into St. Gianna as a participant, and through her growth and through her maturity and through everything that she did, she applied for the house mother, and Katharyne and Missy felt like that she was the perfect person to take on that responsibility. So we just want to make sure we invite everybody out on April the 18th at the La Gala. Doors open at 6. And it'll be a fun-filled night. Come and have fun and join us as we try to raise money for St. Gianna.
It sounds wonderful. Is the food Italian as well?
It is, but there's a little bit of variety just in case pasta's not on your list. We do have a couple of different items. La Gala provides the food. It's always so
good.
delicious. Jake does an incredible job. And so it comes with the meal and the dessert and drinks and everything.
How many are you expecting to attend?
300.
How are the sales
That's
going?
our max.
300 is our max. We're right at a little over 200 right now, so we still have probably 90 tickets left. But we have noticed in the past that the last 10 days, a lot of people come out and buy their tickets. So we're hoping for another sellout event this year.
What is the price for the
It's
ticket?
$100 for a ticket, and it's $30 if you go online to do the online auction only. So we've got all different types of table sponsorships from $1,000 to $2,500. And there's other opportunities. All of that is online at St. Gianna's, and it's I always have to look at this to make sure that I get it right. CPH.org. St. Gianna's, CPH.org.
Yeah, and Saint is STGIANNACPH.org.
We'll have that on the screen at
Great.
some point.
Yeah, that's great.
So that sounds like a wonderful night. And this is going to help you for how long?
It's for 1 year. Basically, it takes us about $180,000 to sustain the house for a year. So that is our financial goal. And like I said, this is our biggest fundraiser.
Well, how are we doing in the last year? Have we been meeting those goals?
Absolutely.
But when you think about it, you're going to continually have new women and babies coming. So
Yes.
you're going to have these needs for years.
Yes.
We hope we'll be open for a long, long time.
Yes.
Are there expansions in the future?
I'm not ready to deal with that yet at this point. As I mentioned, we make a lot of changes day to day as we're going along, but I could see that happening. You know, the property is large enough that we could, in time, expand if we feel the need to do that. So,
Well, what a blessing for the whole community, especially
Yes.
the women involved.
Yes.
Katharyne, would you mind to pray for us before we go
I
out?
would be delighted. Dear God, thank you, first of all, for this beautiful spring day. Thank you for the chance to be here and to speak about this ministry that is on the hearts of so many people. We ask, Lord, that you particularly bless all the mothers and the babies at St. Gianna and all that work there and volunteer there to make their lives the sort of lives that you want to give them in your love. Thank you for this day. Thank you for the opportunity to be here. Amen.
Thank you. This has been God at Work, and today we've been working with two beautiful ladies from St. Gianna Crisis Pregnancy Home. We have Dr. Katharyne Byrne and Janet Henderson, and I'm Kathy Benz. We have been delighted to have you join us. Thank you.